Good morning, everybody. I'm Ed Parco here with Brian Galkey, and we are Aces53, which stands for Attitude, Commitment, Enthusiasm, Smile, and Sales. And then that 53 is the first Joker in the deck. So it's really aces and a Joker, but it's just easier to do Aces 53. The Joker is that unique ability you bring to the table that you either learned or was a natural. Brian's not that good looking, so his natural ability was just kidding. Messing with Brian today. How's it going, buddy?
Well, hurtful.
Redhead. They always say I have a face for radio, so
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it happens.
So you surpassed. So as of another week later, you're like 2.5, 2.4 million on that one.
2.2, and it just crossed 86,000 followers this morning
on Instagram.
On Instagram, not so much traction on TikTok or the others, and like we've been talking about, haters are helpers, so they just keep commenting. Now I've got people coming in telling them how it's ridiculous what they're saying. I just keep responding back. Why? Because it keeps the algorithm alive.
That's right. And the longer you do it, the more it keeps going. I actually stopped on mine when it hit about 745. Yeah, because I was just busy doing other stuff. If I would have stayed connected, I could have. And I'm not. And my wife's like, "Are you jealous of Brian?" I'm like, "No, I'm happy for him." Now just send some of those people my way. Yeah. What? Yeah. See, you would never engage them if I wouldn't have told you to engage them, and that's not trying to pat my back, but people are afraid. I used to tell people. I remember one of the people in our group was like, so and so, what should I do? And I'm like, just hide it and move on. And that's wrong. Engage the hater.
Well, and even I was talking about that with Greg the other week, is he said, "Oh, I used to hide everything that was negative because I didn't want to see it." And I'm like, no, that's the whole thing is, it's the more you engage, the more the algorithm is paying attention. And then the longer that people will stay on your page and read the comments. And so like there's
and they'll start looking at your other stuff and follow you and add more people. Yeah.
Right. So it is funny because like I've got one he keeps coming up and he's like, "Oh, look, this is how long I can keep a con man occupied." And I'm like, let me tell you how
con man occupied.
Yeah. So according to him, I'm a charlatan, a con man. I can't remember what the other ones were. So
wasn't it stopped in like the 1800s because of something like that?
Yeah. So it basically used to be part
of tell the story.
Yeah. All right. So physiognomy has been around since the Greeks. It started with Aristotle, and then it was part of the academic system until Henry VIII had it yanked out because he said, "I don't like the idea that beggars and thieves can use this against their fellow man." Then it came back during the Renaissance ages, but it came back at the same time phrenology did. And phrenology is your skull measurements determine who you are. Like if you got a bump over here, you're a criminal, let's throw you in jail. And so when they threw out phrenology, they got rid of physiognomy at the same time. And the biggest thing that everybody gets wrong is they try and say, "Oh, it's a science." And it's not. It's an art. It's a study of, but it's not a science. So people love to Google and go, "Look, it's a pseudoscience." I'm like, yep, because it's not a science. And it's funny because anybody who's studied soft skills, body language, statement analysis, face reading, whatever it is, those aren't hard sciences. They're not 100% repeatable, but are they valuable is what you have to look at. And people are like, "Oh, you're just a con man out for money." I'm like, am I charging you to see these videos? They're free. So it's just funny because I'll answer all day long. One lady told me, this is eugenics, that is an attempt to breed out certain genetic codes. And I'm like, that is not what this is, but okay, keep reaching.
So, well, do you have children, lady?
Yeah. It's just hilarious.
Because maybe we can stop that code. Yeah. No, I've been dealing with. I do a lot of podcasting and utilizing. And I mean, were you down on that? I mean, I don't mean to take anything away from you. So we're just going to talk a little bit about this and then the event on Thursday. But it's amazing how many podcasts get started and then just stop. Because I've been looking. Because I get matched with 6 every so many hours, and I go in there, probably 4 of them haven't posted anything in a while,
right?
Or they posted forever and then they stopped in December or November. And I'm going to tell you, you can't do that. I did that, and then my amount of people downloads dropped drastically, and I have not gotten it back. People are like, "We can help you. How can you help me?" "Oh, do this. Thank you. I'm doing that. Move on."
Yeah. Well, what was it the rule of 33? What was the rule that you discovered?
It's a rule of 1023.
1023. And what is that for everybody who doesn't know?
Most people don't get past the 10th episode creating it. And if you get past that, most people fail at the 23rd episode.
Gotcha.
And if you get past the 23rd episode, you can still fail.
Yes.
It's kind of like this thing I was reading the other day where 90% of lates are in the first 2 years of you getting that credit card.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So it's the same thing with podcasting. It's like you got to get through and get used to doing it and figuring out how to do it less expensive. Because if you're paying $250 an episode to get something done, in 2 years, something could change. You need to figure a way to do it cheaper.
There's a place near me here in Dallas that you can rent out a studio, full production, $500 an hour, and they stay busy. They've got 5 different studios because so many people are starting podcasts, but have found the value in doing them, right? And in terms of reaching an audience, going live, everything else, it's funny because when you used to hear about podcasts or blogs or anything, you thought, oh, these are just outliers of somebody doing it. But you turn on YouTube, it's amazing what you can discover, what you can learn from. I don't even listen to the radio anymore. If you ask me who a popular song is, no freaking clue, because I'd rather listen to a podcast or YouTube, learn something, Audible book, you name it. I can't tell you other than what my daughter wants to hear on the way home, what a popular song is.
Yeah, see, I don't listen to anything post 90s.
Yeah.
Earlier the 80s, the better and more alternative.
Hey, Spotify is good for that. But getting to the topic today,
which is the topic. What are you doing differently when you attend events? Is that what we're talking about?
Right. That's what we're going to talk about, because we already know who our guest for Thursday is going to be. And it's somebody who threw a very, very large event. But what we've kind of hinted at in the past was what's the right way to attend an event as either a speaker or as an attendee. You have to go in with a plan. So I thought we'd cover some of the things that people really need to think about when they're going to an event one way or the other.
But I want to go back before we do that about your viral video. When are you going to do a new one?
Oh, I do. I keep posting a video every day.
But they're not doing the same thing.
Correct.
So have you went through that video and figured out what you needed to do to make it go viral again?
Sort of. The biggest comment that people got was when I said in the video, well, it's right above his eye. I can't tell you how many hundreds of people want to comment and say, where else would your eyebrow be located? And I'm like, it wasn't in reference to location on the face. It's not an eyebrow over here. We were talking about how high or how low from the eye is it. So I've got to find something that people want to correct is going to be one of the first ones. And I do think the guy's a good looking dude. So that probably helps it out also. And
maybe get a good looking girl for the next one.
Well, that's what I'm going to have to go through, because I've got dozens of these videos.
Right by her lips.
I need to focus on the end of it when, the last 15 minutes to 30 minutes of a stage presentation is I let volunteers come up. So what I need to do is go into Opus and just focus on when people come on stage. So I need to go through all the big talks and find when the volunteers come up and focus on that and start putting out a lot more of those. I think it's human curiosity. People want to see, not just teaching them the skill, but see it on someone live.
I've been telling you that for 2 years. The moment I met you, I go, stop talking about it and showing this, have people, because every time we had you talk to somebody in public, they're all, oh my God, George, come over here, Betty.
That's exactly it.
And that's what's important, because then people understand how it's just really about communicating with people, how to connect with them.
It's soft skills. It's like we've talked about before. I'm a huge fan, body language books. You can grab statement analysis books. This one's a really good one. Mind Reader by David Lieberman. It's about just learning more about other people. And that's the crazy part, is it's the one thing that we're not really taught in school, but yet it's such an important part of our day-to-day networking events. Everything you need is through someone else. And that's the crazy part, is we're not taught how do you do things. We're taught dress for success, dress for the job you want, but not how to understand other people better.
Yeah, because the reason I'm asking these questions is there's a couple of New Yorkers, young kids, who are like complaining about inflation. Like this haircut used to cost me $20. Now it's $40 for what? They're freaking out on there, and they're multi-million viewers and followers and you name it, just from these stupid things. And please, I don't mean that wrong to them. I'm just saying things that you wouldn't know, but that is because people are like the accent, they like the thing, and they're twins. So that didn't hurt, right? So,
It's
so I'm
huge
just
for
saying,
us.
how can somebody else recreate and because you're only as good as your last one that went viral.
Correct. And
And
that's
it's
just
really about figuring out, because I remember Ryan when he said, we've had a few go over 1 million, and it doesn't always happen.
right. They're definitely, because I did go to Ryan had that viral edits thing in Florida a month ago. And there is something, obviously, we know hook is a big one. So what's a hook? Hook is what captures their attention right away. But then with videos, what is it in the video specifically? So, we need to, I'll have to talk another one. I know another guest we should have on who she also helps people get over 1 million views. But there's sometimes what you see as, just like in a movie, it takes months to actually film a movie for a 2-hour movie. There are people who put in hours and days for a quick 60-second video, but you never know what's going to hit. Now, people are able to identify, but there's opinions on everything. Should you have hot hashtags? Should you not have hashtags? What time of day should you post? Nobody knows for sure, because none of the platforms share their algorithm with everyone. So people have theories. And one of the ones that we tested is exactly what we talked about at the beginning of this. And that is, do you respond to haters, or do you just let them stay? Or do you leave the comments alone? Well, what we found is if you respond to even the dumbest attack, it shows that you're interacting. And so the algorithm goes, this is important. And then again, people come on and they read through the comments, no matter how dumb they are. And so then you get rewarded for people staying on your video longer. So it is interesting. Look at, and this is way off topic for what we're going to talk about, but screw it. Look at where we've come to where we are. So if you look at social media platforms, they all started with, let me post a picture and then let people see it. And then what, about a year and a half ago, maybe, it became reels and short clips and you name it. And then all of a sudden TikTok came out and they were killing it with videos. And all of a sudden Instagram, which was what? Instant pictures of things, said, oh crap, we need to do videos. And then you've always had YouTube, which has been long form content, which is 10 minutes and higher videos. So they're all competing differently. And you have to kind of go, okay, what do I want to put on what platform? So I'll tell you, and where you and I have talked about this, I go TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I put the exact same things up. Now, what's interesting about YouTube and Shorts, it doesn't help you for the qualifications you need to ultimately grow your platform. So that's what we talked about earlier this morning, is one of the programs we use now is going to go up to 15 minutes. It's either 10 or 15. I don't remember which one it is. But now you can do longer form content. So I'm going to start blowing up the YouTube page, because the shorts, while they're getting me, I think I was at 3,000 views in the last week, 3,000 minutes or something like that. I'll have to look again. But I don't have long form content on YouTube. So I'll never meet the YouTube's metrics until I start putting on at least 5 to 10 minute long content, if that makes sense.
Well, and also, if you just do shorts, it says you've never uploaded a video.
And lives, right? We put a live on
Lives
YouTube.
doesn't matter at all.
Yeah,
and that's why I stopped putting lives on my stuff, and I'm actually starting to upload them separately just to have it there. And then now, and with a thumbnail, and then also cut it up into 3 minutes. And the reason 3 minute was because Opus only did max 3 minutes that you could put all the verbiage in.
Yep.
So I don't know if Opus will allow you to go over 3 minutes, because yesterday it stopped me and said I can't put all this in if it's over 3 minutes.
It's in longer now. Hold on, I want to find the email from them. It's called Opus 3, and it allows you to do 3 minutes to 15-minute video clips. Now, they do let you know anything in the 3 and over AI, the B-roll footage.
That's what it was.
They haven't got that part figured out yet, but the rest of it they're good with.
I know, but I like the B-roll because it keeps people engaged. So that's why I'm keeping mine right at 3, because I changed how I did. So I took my Inner Edison podcast, went and put it on a separate thing, because for 2 years ago and then a year ago, people were like, you're messing your algorithm. You're a real estate mortgage guy. And now you have this. Well, then they went to, I made the change, and then they go, oh, those are podcasts, so it doesn't matter anymore. And the problem is I have, I don't know what it is, 20 some thousand on there. So I can monetize it. Well, I can't over on Inner Edison, because it only has like a handful of subscribers, because it's a totally separate thing. So people don't know it connected me, even though I've had shorts go 5,000-10,000 more views over there. I'm still not getting the pool. So I'm like, okay, I got to start putting the stuff back underneath me and go forward.
Yeah. It's a challenge because, like you said, you're always chasing an algorithm. And then what happens is if they change what's important to them, all of a sudden what you used to do doesn't work. It's good because what do all the platforms want? Fresh content, fresh ideas. But look, sat in front of a room of people who consistently get close to 1 million views or 1 million views, and they all had different opinions on what worked for them. Now, there was one consistent thing, and that is you have to be your brand. You have to, it's not about, oh, look at my product, look at my product, look at my product. It's, hey, this is what I love about my product. This is what I enjoy doing. There was I think you and I talked about the Epic Gum group. They're a bunch of dentists who created a gum that's good for you. And what they found is when they put out content, it wasn't just about how good their dental services or their gum was, but they posted one about why they do Christmas alone and not with the rest of their family. And that one went viral because everybody had all these opinions. How dare you? You're robbing your grandparents and you're robbing all these people. You're being selfish because you think you're good that you made it. And all these people's opinions and everything went out. And so that video went viral. So it's interesting about what you can be on here with. And just if you have an opinion on something, you share it. Obviously, there's more haters than there are helpers, but haters are helpers. We talked about that earlier. But when you put something polarizing out there, that's what can make something go viral. Now, obviously, there's the sex sells. I'm screwed in that department. But
so am I.
You put somebody in a bikini or something like that, a lot of those will go viral. But
that's somebody we had on. That's all I see is the content.
Yeah,
not in bikinis, but you know what I mean. So
yeah. And it's
kids, cats, dogs, those things. Yeah. So let me go get George. I'll be right back.
Good. Speaking of dogs, but yeah, it is interesting because what works for one person won't work for another one, and you don't know. I've been uploading videos. I think I've got 700 posts, and just one suddenly went nuts. But I grabbed one that was similar and put it out there, and it's at 50,000 views versus 2.2 million.
Yeah, but is that on Instagram or is that on
Instagram?
TikTok? Yeah.
Nope, Instagram. The exact same thing. I went and found a video. I thought, aha, this one's similar. And I did the same thing, put up the picture with the arrows and all that kind of stuff, but it didn't take off nearly as well as the other one did. So you don't know.
Why didn't you just make it into a YouTube and try it that way?
Well, that's what I'm working on right now.
Just go over there and then you change the direction of it. And the biggest issue with YouTube is the thumbnail.
Yes.
See, the difference with the other group, there is none. So now the Facebook and Instagram reels are up to 90 seconds now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Which is great. But I want, that's great. But it's really hard to cut up really stuff you talk about right in that period of time.
Yes. And again, if you go to YouTube and you go to 61 seconds, all of a sudden it's not short.
Right. So they're still at 60. I mean, 59.
They are hard 60 stop. And if you don't stop, then you get punished for it. Like I put up one the other day and it's sitting at 4 views versus the other ones get 25.
Turn it the other way. Turn it the other way and upload it as a regular video. But the thing I like about it is with keeping it under 3 minutes and again, I don't know, the B-roll, because that is what. Did you have B-roll in the one that went viral?
I put my own B-roll in. I don't.
So yes, you have B-roll.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but you can just go in there and make changes to the picture.
Oh, well, that's what I do. I use a combination. Here's my secret sauce for everyone. I use Opus clips for the videos, and I use CapCut because I want to control what B-roll shows up, and I use B-roll off of deposit photos or my own content, depending on what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I've been using Opus because they have their normal, and then you can pay for Shutterstock or whatever, and you can down. So, and I go in there and it's like, there's only occasionally it's so wrong. It's like, how did you pick that picture?
Yeah,
So
well, that's
because it says what it's looking for, and
right.
You just go in there and search, and it'll give you more pictures. Sometimes you can't get any better ones.
Mine is such specific content, though, I have to go pull a photo. So I'll do a screenshot of the video, and then I'll upload that with arrows and say, this is what I'm pointing at. This is what I'm looking at. So it's hard for me to use the stock Opus B clips. Maybe at some point I'll be able to, but not now.
Well,
I know. Life is hard.
No, what was nice, I was at the cabin last weekend. It was fresh air. You get back to the valley one day and hear how I sound.
I think because I got this new ring light, my eyes have been hurting. I'm like, is that why my eyes? Is it just the weather changing? What's going on here?
I don't know. It's that ring light. That way you have the circles in your eye on your glasses.
I know, like this.
Yeah.
I know. That's why sometimes I'm like, okay, we'll go like this. And like,
well, I can put
wait, am I
glasses
protecting
on.
my eyes? So I need the glasses. I don't know.
I can put glasses on, but they're not going to help me up close.
Mine aren't for vision. It's the blue blocking light, whatever.
So so you're fake. It's for vanity.
Yes. To make me, it's my vanity metric. No, it's supposed to help your eyes since we're not used to monitors. But all right, let's prep for Thursday a little bit since we're already at 20 minutes in. So Thursday we got a guy coming in that the really cool thing is he was attending events and then he just decided, screw it, I'm going to throw one. And he didn't start small. The guy went and did a massive event. I've got pictures from it, and he brought in some amazing speakers. He found a kick-ass venue, and you would never.
This was last year, right?
Yeah, this was October last year.
Yeah,
you'd never know that this was his first time around. And what he also did is he's like, hey, look, there will be a green room for speakers, but I really would prefer that you sit out with the audience and get to know people. And so this particular venue had like a round space in the back because it was actually a bar in Nashville. And so the acoustics were great. They already had the video set up. They had everything else. And the speakers were around there so that when people had questions on breaks and when we're done and everything, they could come and talk to us. And of course, there's a respect of going, hey, I'm happy to talk to you. Let's get done. When the other speaker's done talking, let's go over here or let's step outside. But access to speakers was something that was very unique that he had. And that's one of the things I want to talk about today. People go, well, how'd you get to meet all these people? If somebody's standing out and they're not hiding in the green room, and when I say hiding, that's not out of disrespect, you'd be amazed at the amount of speakers who are bigger introverts than I am. You know, there's some who, when they go back, they have to have headphones in, they have to listen to music right before they go on stage, and then all of a sudden they ground themselves, they go out, and they're exhausted when they get off stage and they hide in the back. And that's more for their own health and everything else, not a vanity. Now, there are some people who are like, you're only paying me to speak. I'm only going to come in. I'm going to speak. I'm going to sit in the green room and I'm leaving. Unless you want to charge for photos, then we'll split that fee. Now, so there are those people that have reached a certain level if that's their expectation. But that's not everybody.
That's what I do. You got to charge for photos.
That's true, but you're the one taking them. So, but so if you go somewhere and the speakers are available, they're just people. And it took me, you know, I used to look up to, and I still admire a lot of people, but I used to think that they were untouchable. And you and I have talked about this on previous episodes.
That's your own thing.
Yeah. Well, it's because I was raised in a corporate environment where, you don't talk to the CEO, you go through someone at your peer level. But that's not the way entrepreneurs work and speakers and business people. Is they want to be accessible, they want feedback, and they want people to ask questions. So if you have the opportunity, give it a shot. You'll know real fast if they want to talk to you or if they don't. You know, I took that chance 2 weeks ago with Chris Voss. I knew he was in the green room. I have access to the green room. And I thought, you know what? They're running long. He's just sitting back in the green room. So I'm going to go back and talk to him. And we had a good 20 to 30 minute conversation. And I started off talking how much, you know, his book impacted me, how I use the content to help teach law enforcement, educators, you name it. And then he wanted to talk about the skill, not his book. And he suggested other authors and other people to study from. And it wasn't all about him. And that's not what people would assume.
Well, that's nice. I mean, and that's I heard something the other day. When you don't think you can do something, somebody else is amazed at what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or the other one is, if you don't think you can do something, look at people who have less skill than you that are out there doing it. So.
Okay, so that was a hit at somebody.
Yeah. No, not at all. That's literally. No.
While we were on this, I got hit with TikTok domination. Join our course.
Oh yeah, no, there's some on my list. Let me manage your profile. Okay, well, you found me, so obviously I'm doing okay. But
how long you been working on your Instagram thing?
Yeah.
I don't care. Move
2
on.
days.
Yeah.
2 days. Yeah. Another one. Okay. You and I have differing opinions on this one, so we can both talk about our different opinions for it. Business cards. See, you're a hard no, but I'm also one of those, my business cards have my QR code on it. And because if I'm going to speak an event and I want to leave business cards out.
That's my business card.
Exactly. You've got that one.
For my people, for what I do, that's my business card.
Exactly.
And for every client I talk to, I send them my book.
which is
everybody
a
else.
great strategy. And there's people that they will check with the organizer of the event and will say, hey, am I allowed to bring books to give to your audience? Now, the key word there is give to the audience, not charge, because you don't want to go into somebody else's event who's charging for tickets and everything else and then try and sell your own products. And so that's a great question to ask. If you're going to any event is, what am I allowed to bring? What am I allowed to talk about? Am I allowed to pitch from the stage? Usually the less money you make, the more that you're allowed to talk about your product. But if you're paid to be there, then they look at that's your pay. So you don't do a hard pitch. And I've literally seen at events where they'll warn them and say, if you attempt to pitch your product, we will end your segment early. And people think, oh, they won't stop me. They don't know who I am. And all of a sudden, their mic goes dead. So it's a respect thing. If you're showing up to somebody else's house, play by their rules.
And if you're going to be on, I know we're talking about this event, but this thing just popped up and that's why I was looking over here. So one of the other issues is I use Podmatch a lot.
Mhm.
Besides, I used to get a lot from every time I go to the events, but now I haven't gone in about a year. And so I've been focusing on stuff. And it says this person responds to you 60% of the time,
Right.
0% of the time. If you're going to pay for something to get you on podcasts or have other people get on your podcast, why don't you respond? And that keeps into with what you're talking about, your events and connecting with people there who will actually want that you can talk to ahead of time to get on your podcast, to get on your other stuff. That's all I was going to say. It just irks me when people, oh yeah, I want you on my podcast. And then you go through the thing and then they never respond back to you. So if I do 10 people, I'll get, and to be on their podcast, I'll get 10 to get back to me. I'm sorry. If I do 10, I'll get 2 that gets back to me.
Right.
And if I'm talking to somebody in public or some at those events and I talk to 10 people, all 10 of them will be on my podcast.
Right.
Or vice versa.
Well, that's a good point. Also, is follow-up. Since the title of this one is networking and events and everything, it's not just about giving your business card away. And this one I'm horrible about. But one of the things that with the QR code, go, hey, just go download the cheat sheet. And then what I did on the last one is when I went to Door Con is I looked at how many people subscribed right after I spoke. It was like 100 people. So what did I do? Is I sent them an email. Hey, nice to meet you at Door Con. These are, if you stopped by the booth, here's the information. If you didn't get a chance to, here's a copy of the cheat sheet. Because I gave away 2 different ones when I was there. One when I was speaking, and I had one at the booth. And that helps because people reached right back out and were saying, hey, how do I follow up training? What can I do? So follow up it's great to get your card out there because you hope somebody reaches back out. But something I failed at for a very long time was getting other people's information as well. And that's a huge one. So if you're looking for, even if you have the, not the QR code, but like Popple, or if you have any of those that
have the Popple.
Yeah. What's it called? Not EMF.
Is that the card thing?
Yeah. It's whatever the card technology is, though.
There's a bunch of them.
Blanking on it. But there's only a few that when somebody scans your card, it says add Ed to my contacts. Now, there's a lot of them that say send Ed your contacts, but Uvo and one of the other ones is one of the only ones that says and add Ed to your phone. And so that's something to look at is if you're going to get an EMF, God, I'll think about it later. I don't know why it's bothering me.
You said the other day they turned off the phone connections, like if you have your 2 phones together. Right?
No, I know some people who turn it off as a safety risk, but no, I used it the other day.
Yeah, I was going to say, unfortunately, I give my information back and forth to both my phones all the time.
Yeah. They're talking to each other.
Yeah, there's like, oh, by the way, here's your connected Ed, and here's your, oh, thank you, boyfriend phone and business phone. I'm just saying it's getting to a point where you don't have to do that anymore. The phones can talk to each other. Yes, they can steal all your information too, but that's beside the point.
What's interesting is I've gone in, especially if you're doing share contact. I wish they would just on iPhones say, this is what I want to share every single time. Because I always ask, do you want to add your Gmail? No. Do you want to tell them where you live? Well, yeah. So let me save that as what I want to send. And for some reason, they're not doing it.
Oh, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
All right. So we have somebody coming in on Thursday.
Right.
And our statement today was, what are you doing differently when you attend events? I do the same thing I always do is I talk to the audience.
But
then occasionally talk to the speakers. Yeah.
You want to talk to the audience. So go with a plan. If you're going just to watch the speakers, no offense, and I say this as a speaker because I want you to come to events, but you can watch it on YouTube. So if you're only going because of who's on the ticket, that you're going in half-assed, because you should be going for saying who is like me in the audience, who shares the same customers I share, who has the same avatars, who do we have the same customer that we're not competitors. That's who you should go to meet. And I don't think enough people do that.
I don't think enough people go to events outside of their industry.
That's a whole other one. For me, I look for a few different things. One, who are the speakers I want to learn from? That is one for sure. But I look at, is it 5,000 people and they're going to rush everybody through it? Is it 500 people where you can still network? You and I we first met at a 40-person one. And then the next time I hung out was at a 500-person one. They both had value.
That was only 500 at Greg Reese. Yeah. I could have swore they had more than that, but okay.
No, he tries to cap it at around 500. Matter of fact, he sent an email out yesterday. He's already sold out the one for March.
It's next month.
Yeah, but it's a cool venue. It's called Radio Box. It's in Little Italy in San Diego. Mm-hmm. Cool venue, 3 floors. You saw pictures of it from last year. Mm-hmm. But I like going to all the events. Obviously, join a mastermind that you live near. And why is that? So you can get together outside of the mastermind. I think that's a big one. So when I'm going to an event, I take my iPad to take notes. That's a huge one. Are you taking anything that you can even write down notes? A notepad. I'm better on my iPad with taking notes.
Dude, record it. Drop it in Cast Magic. Have it transcribe it. Create whatever else. There's so many things now. You okay over there?
Yeah.
My wife was like, did you know kids nowadays are recording their lectures, taking it, having it transcribed, turn into flashcards, turn into this, and they're not even writing anything. I'm like, yeah, I know. And that's why you should not record any meeting, record meetings, record everything. It can be transcribed, put in, like I do a board meeting tomorrow for Rotary. If the lady just types all what they're there, but you could just record it and then have it transcribed and put the people's names into it later.
Yeah. Well, and as long as there are some speakers that will say, like on the ticket and everything else, none of this can be copyrighted, recorded, or anything like that. So the thing is, if you're using it for you, great. Don't use somebody else's content without their permission.
Oh, I wasn't saying to do that. I'm just saying if you can't take notes, there's other ways to do it.
Oh, I agree, but you know how it goes. You have to throw out a warning, kind of like when Pam talks. This is not financial advice. I'm not an attorney.
I'm an educational person. This is for education only.
But yeah, I am excited going back to our Thursday guest, because this was a guy who was in one industry, but he knew he wanted to make an impact on more people. And rather than just keeping to attend events, and he did, he paid to attend some, he joined masterminds. This guy said, screw it, I'm going to throw one. And it was awesome. And he came up with a unique idea that I don't want to give away before Thursday.
All right, then don't. There's just
go. I'm just saying
Thursday's right. Thursday's in 2 days.
Different that the rest of the industry doesn't do. So I'm excited for Thursday.
All right. Anything else?
Nope, I'm good till Thursday.
Because we've been talking for a very long time. I don't know if I got anything good stuff out today.
Probably not. Well, we talked a little bit about algorithms and different platforms, what they should do, but we definitely didn't get to the main topic until the end, but still got there.
All right, well, take us out.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. Ed, thank you for being here today. We are Aces53. The best way to support us is subscribe and share us with other people. So other than that, we are here on Tuesdays, usually just Ed and I, like the old grumpy people from the Muppets, arguing with each other. And then on Thursdays, we bring in a special guest we call the Joker, not because they're hilarious or to make fun of them, but because it's like a Joker in a deck of cards. And that is, what's the wild card? How can they enhance something? Is it through knowledge they have, through a skill that they learned that we want to share with you guys to help you grow and expand as well? So Ed, thank you for being here. Everybody else, have a great day.
My pleasure. We'll talk to you.